just for you and me. The dogwood was never to grow strong and tall again.
Hello, this is Lonnie Jones. I'm back on episode 30, and I'm here at Larry's Gun Garage. I'm actually in the motorhome right now, talking to you about my life story and what God's done for me. And God's had a lot to do with these stories I'm telling you. Without Him, I wouldn't have got a lot of it, probably none of it accomplished. But at any rate, God's gonna come into this episode pretty big time. Because right now we're up to, I've got a contract from a gentleman that works for a company that works on the gas pumps for Mabco. He's given me a contract of about $6,000. And now I'm down at the headquarters of Mabco in Franklin, Tennessee, showing this lady, from what description she gave me, I made it to the best I could. Well, I sat up on her desk, and she was pretty much blown away. She said, Lonnie, exactly what I want, except you need to add one more 4 or 5 inches over here for one more thing that we're going to put in the condiment holder. Said everything else is perfect. Said all I want you to do is add 4 inches to the length of it. And so I said, well, how many of these things you want? And she said, I need 160. 160. Now, that don't sound like much. Don't sound like much. Until she said, how much are they going to cost me? And I told her $145 a piece. Well, that's some pretty good money. I hadn't got it in my head exactly what it was, but $145 times 160 is several $1,000s. Well, basically my struggling was going on all this time, keeping my head above the water, keeping the bill paid. And between this other man and Mabco, this was going to put me way out of debt and money in the bank. Except in one thing. I didn't have the money to buy the material to make the parts. Now, got these 2 big contracts. No money to buy the material. Had no idea where I was going to get the money to buy the material. Didn't have a clue. The materials came to $12,000. $12,000 is what the material came to. Well, this is like on a Monday or Tuesday I get this information. Well, I go in and go to work. Well, Sandy and I are going to meet for lunch over at that restaurant that I'm trying to think what the name was. Still haven't yet. But on 8th Avenue, there's a big Ford Lincoln dealer, I believe, right beside of it on 8th Avenue, just up the road. I don't remember exactly. Don't really matter at this point. It don't really matter. I'll think of that too. But we went to the restaurant. I met her at the restaurant, and we were sitting there eating, and I told her the story about the plastic and the jobs and who I was doing the work for and everything. And I never once asked her for a penny. I didn't ask her for a penny. I told her that I had these 2 jobs and the material was going to cost $12,000, and I didn't have the money. And I wasn't about to ask her. I hadn't known her. I hadn't known her over a month and a half at the most. I even knew her at the time. And I certainly wasn't going to ask her. I hadn't even thought about asking her for the money, as a matter of fact. I had no clue where I was going to get the money. But God knew where I was going to get the money. God knew all along. God gave me the work. So don't tell me God don't exist. in all ways, forms, and fashions. He's there. Always. And I told her the story of that I had these jobs, and you know, and I had the other company cancel out on me and sort of left me flat, and basically by buying a house left me pretty much broke and just paying the bills is all I was doing. And she said, well, how much money do you need? And I said, well, $12,000 is what it's going to take to buy the material. I said, I don't have the money to buy the material because I just went to work for this high-rise downtown as a maintenance man, making $12 an hour plus benefits. And I used to make a lot more money than that, but that's neither here nor there. That's another story. And so I told her I needed I took $12,000 to buy the material. She reaches in her pocketbook, pulls out a checkbook, and writes me a check for $12,000. Now, who but God would ever knew that? Nobody but God would ever make that happen. That just wasn't going to happen. Nothing like that is supposed to happen. I don't know what the reason other than I do have a big heart and I love everybody. And I won't, you know, other than that, I don't know. I guess I'm worth saving, or I would be sitting here telling you these stories because there's been many times when I shouldn't even be here. And those are another stories we can get to down the road. But she wrote me a check for $6,000 for $12,000. The first, and here when she did that, I was sort of blown away with it. I was really actually blown away with it. I didn't know what to really say, but I thought about it for a minute. I said, you hardly know me. I hardly know you. Why would you do that? She just said, I think I'll get my money back. She said, I'm not worried about it. She said, I think I'll get my money back. I said, okay, here is how you get your money back. I'll get the material. The first job the first job comes in, it's going to be, I'll get paid for it, and it's going to be $6,000. Comes just a little over $6,000. I'm going to give you $4,000 of that $6,000 back because you gave me the money to go on and buy all the material. All right. I said, now this next job, now there's going to be another job come into the picture here in just a minute. While I was doing this and negotiating with Mabco, Mabco gave me another job out of Memphis, Tennessee, and it mounted close to $12,000. That job alone mounted close to $12,000. So how I was going to pay her back was the first $6,000 that I did a job for and I got paid for it, I was giving her $4,000. The next job I made was going to have to come a little at a time because it was such a big job. It was going to take me a little while to make it. It was those 120 condiment holders that I'm talking to you about. And so I said, when I get my first check from that, I'll give you another $4,000. And I said, then I'm going to throw that job in from Memphis that's going to be $12,000 because I'll have the money to buy that material above what you already gave me. I will take and do that job next, and I'll give you your other $4,000 at that time. And that's exactly what I did. And I can prove that's what I did. Because I do what I say I'm going to do. I've got no reason. I found a long time ago, once you lie, you got to lie again, and lies just keep building. Lies, that you don't live on a lie. You live on the truth. It's better to tell the truth up front than ever tell one lie anywhere. So I lived up to what I said I would do. I paid her all that money back just exactly like I said I would do that. Well, another funny thing happened during all this time. She went down to Beaman Pontiac to buy her a new car. And she wanted me to ride down there with her. So I rode down there with her. Now, some of you going to know where the yellow truck come from and how I come by the yellow truck. Because remember, I've told y'all all along, being in business for yourself, personal credit is basically a pretty good sized joke. What you have to do, if you're going to do anything, you have to incorporate your company and you have to borrow the money through the company if you're going to do anything personally and pay that back. Well, that's a long drawn out situation, and that's another story too. So anyway, we were down, after I've done paid her back her money for her plastic and everything, we were down at Beaman Pontiac, and she went in to buy a new car, and when I walked in with her, here sat this yellow truck y'all all see me driving. This yellow truck sitting on the showroom floor. Well, I get up and I go over and look it over, and she's talking to the salesman about her car and everything. So I had a nice little blue pickup truck just like the yellow one, except it was blue, and it was I believe it was 1996. And it wasn't anything in the world wrong with it. In fact, part of the story will be about it too. But I'm looking at the truck, you know, I can't buy the truck because my credit's not any good. My credit's not any good buy a $40,000 truck. And that's just life and the way it was. So I'm looking over and she's buying a car. So she gets done buying her car and signing her papers and everything, and she's gonna come back on this. I believe this was a Monday or a Tuesday. And she's gonna come back 2 days to pick up her car. Well, I'm looking at the truck, and then she gets ready to go. She says, "Hey, I like that truck." I said, "Well, I sure would like to have that. That'd be nice to have a truck like that, brand new." And that was the end of it. So we had lunch about every day over at that restaurant. So the day she was go back to pick up her car, she had to go after work. When she got off at 5, I got off at 4:30. So I met her over at Beaman Pontiac to pick up her new car. Well, the yellow truck was gone. So she sat down with a salesman, and she finished signs or whatever she's got to do with that salesman, and she says, "Is that yellow truck about ready?" Unbelievable. Anyway, she has bought this yellow truck for me, and I hadn't told her that I'd pay her back, wouldn't pay her back, or nothing. I told her nothing. Well, here they come driving the yellow truck out in her car at the same time. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have a clue what to say. But see, God's still in the middle of all this. He's got me out of debt now. I'm out of debt now, by the way. Totally out of debt and got money in the bank. But I wasn't going to buy no new truck with the money. But I liked the new truck, and she bought the truck. That's all I can say. She bought the truck. And they handed me the keys. So I drive the truck to her house. I go out to her house and follow her home and everything. So we sat down at the table. I said, "I'm going to pay you for the truck. You've never asked me how I was going to pay for it, when I was going to pay it, or if I even had to pay for it. But I said, I'm going to pay you for this truck." I said, I said I'd like to have the truck, but I never once thought that she would buy it for me. So I sat there and told her, I said, the only way I can pay this truck with the job that I've got making $12 an hour, I'll pay you $400 a month. Every month till this truck is paid for. And that's exactly what I did. And I can prove it. I did never miss a payment, never was late on a payment. I paid her like I was paying a bank. Because when I told her $400 a month, she said, that's fine. I'm not even too sure she thought she would ever get her money. I don't have a clue. She never told me that she was going to give it to me. She just bought it. And I had me the keys. So that's how I come me with that yellow pickup truck. Bought it brand new off of showroom floor at Beam and Pontiac. And that's about all that I can tell you about the truck thing. But you think God didn't have something to do with that? God had everything in the world to do with that. Me getting out of debt, her paying for the plastic. But remember, I paid her back every dime. And the big thing about the whole thing, she didn't want no interest. She didn't want anything at all. And she never really asked for the money. She never once asked for any of this money back for the plastic or the truck, either one. But I told her how I would pay her back, and that's exactly how I paid her back. I paid her back on time, every time, like I was supposed to do. Well, God knew that I'd do that. And without asking, was I going to pay for it or not, she knew I was going to pay her back. She knew I wouldn't take nothing from her without paying her back. That's not what I do. That's not how I do things. So I paid her back for the pickup truck, and we were boyfriend and girlfriends, I think 5 or 6 years. We went on, and I would go out and help her clean the pool, and I built stuff for her. She had a 5-acre farm, but it was mostly all woods. And she had a tractor, and I kept her driveway up. She'd buy the gravel, and I'd keep the driveway up for her. Her mom and dad lived off a hill behind her. She had a road that went through the woods from her house down to theirs. And I done lots of things for her at her home and everything. And we stayed friends and girlfriend and boyfriend for somewhere out to five years, I'd say, something like that. And then Larry's grand old garage over here started getting so big, and I couldn't handle what I was doing over here and handle what she needed handling over there, that took a man to help her to get things done. So I couldn't do both. So under great terms, she went on about her business, I went on about mine. It's real simple. And God's not done with that deal even yet. Through her, I met some guys from Honduras that were painters. And well, they would do anything, just about. And I met them through her. However, let me back that up just a little bit. She actually met them through me, and here's how that happened, how it come by. They was 3 guys from Honduras over here, and they lived in the corner house on Maple Street up here, and Northside Church of Christ had given me a bunch of church pews, and those church pews was 24 foot long, 16 foot long. You had to haul them on a trailer, and I had a certain time I had to get them out, and I had nobody to help me. And I'm telling you this to tell you how they ended up over helping her. Is they were standing out in the yard one Sunday afternoon, and I asked them, did they have anything to do if they wanted to make $100? And of course they said, yeah. So we go over to the Northside Church of Christ with a big long trailer that I have with these 3 guys from Honduras, and unbolt these church pews and bring them over to Larry's grand old garage on Sunday afternoon. And from that time on, those guys from Honduras were my friends, and I introduced them to her, and she had them doing lots of things for her out there at her place. these guys were painters. And I mean, they were great painters too. They painted houses in Belmead, Brentwood, and everywhere. So that's how come she actually met the guys in Honduras. It was actually through me, and through here God again hands me 3 guys standing out in the front yard to haul 24-foot church pews, and then on this trailer, and them hitting the ground in the back. Every time I hit a bump, they go down and hit the road. We got them home. They took them off and stacked them for me and everything. So to give them $100, I gave them $200. And we were great friends ever since. As a matter of fact, we stayed friends so long that when we built, Rita and I got together and we built a new home 2 doors up from where our little house here is here at Madison on Maple Street. They were still around, and they actually painted a 1,650 square foot house for us, the colors we wanted, and never got a draw of paint nowhere where it belonged. They painted the house for us one weekend for $2,100. $2,100. You think God hasn't looked out after me in every step that I've taken all through my life? And way before that, I'll go back and tell you about Hendersonville, what God's done for me in Hendersonville. Somewhere down the line, I'll get that one together as well. But right now, we're up to me getting out of debt with my plastic. Sandy helping me buy the plastic so I can make the parts. And then she turns around and gets a yellow truck for me, and I pay her back for the yellow truck. And that's how come me with that yellow truck, 2002. And for 10 years, nobody drove that truck but me for 10 years. And then I hired a couple of guys to help around here, and that's when I let a couple of them drive the truck a place or two. But mostly 99% of the time that truck's been driven, I'm the only one that's ever driven it. I'll promise you there's not 3,000 miles on that truck that was driven by anybody but me. It's got 135,000 on it. I've drove it all the step of the way. I never put brakes on that truck, and they were front brakes at that. I always thought the rear ones would wear out before the front ones, but in my case, the front ones wore out, and I put brakes on that truck at 99,000 miles. Is when I put the first set of brakes on that truck. 99,000 miles. And that's, you start stopping before you get where you're going. So anyway, now Sandy and I have gone through a 5 to 6 year period of friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend. And she and God has got me. We have got God and Sandy has got me out of debt and money in the bank, and she's going on her own way now, and I'm going mine. And when I say I'm going mine, neither one of us, as far as I know, I didn't for sure have a boyfriend right off the bat. I mean, girlfriend right off the bat. I didn't have a girlfriend at all. So this is back in 2002. We're about up to 2005 or 6. I'd say we're up to 2006 at this point. And Sandy and I go about our separate ways. So I'm got no girlfriend. One of my ex-wives and I get back together, and most of you know surely, we got back together strictly as friendship, totally 100% as friendship. And we only played music together. She lived in her house, East Nashville. I live in my little house down here. Well, I didn't have a girlfriend, so the only thing we done was made music together. Is what we did. So I'm going to sort of like leave that with you at this point. That was episode 30. So And don't forget the Missionary Baptist Church at 101 Flat Ridge Road in Goodlettsville. Don't forget that on Sundays, on Sunday morning 11 to 12. If you can't be there, watch us on Facebook. And that night, they're there at 7 o'clock, I believe, or 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And then, of course, on Wednesday night. So, and this shot you're looking at behind me here is another picture that I taken from my telephone on the way back up, bringing our houseboat to Old Hickory Lake. And I'll get into telling you about not a lot happened from 2000. Well, quite a bit happened in 2007, 2006 and 7. There was quite a bit happened before I won't tell you anymore. I'll leave you right there because I don't want to start into something until I can tell you the whole story. So we're going to quit here on episode 30. Play you a couple of songs. Don't forget to come to our Friendship Missionary Baptist Church at 101 Flat Ridge Road in Goodlettsville, Tennessee on Sunday. And I'll see you on episode 31. But right now we're going to pick you a couple of songs, okay? See you on chapter 31. We're going to get that all for me, big boy. This is called Fallen Leaves, I hope. Fallen leaves that lie scattered on the ground, birds and flowers that were here cannot be found. And his friends he once had are not around. They are scattered like the leaves upon the ground. Some folks tripped along through life and never thrilled to the feeling that could be rang until it's too late and they are ready to lie down beneath the leaves that are scattered on the ground. Let my eyes see every need of every man. Let me stop and always lend a helping hand. Then my lays beneath that fancy mound. Will there be friends around like leaves upon the ground? To your grave there's no use taking any gold. It's no use when it's time for hands to fold. When you leave this world for better home someday, the only thing you'll take is what you gave away. All the leaves that lie scattered on the ground, birds and flowers are here can be found, and his friends he once had are not around, and they're scattered like leaves upon the ground, and they're scattered like the leaves upon the ground. again. Here we go. I'll shut up now.
Jesus died on the cross from a dogwood tree. He gave his life and soul just for you and me. The dogwood